listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Good afternoon and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the business show, live here on Business Talk Radio and social media. I am your host and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I am a certified life, career, yoga, and meditation coach. And normally my co-host, Mr. Alcini, would be here today, but he has the day off and we wish him well. So filling in for him is a good friend of mine, a man who is no stranger to the stage. He is the Reverend Ralph Graves. Let's bring him on. Ralph Graves Jr., it's good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to be. How did Al get the day off? That's what I want to know.
He asked nicely. He said, could he please have the day off? And I said, yes. He's got something big he's working on for his business.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to sit in the room with you. I learned so much. It's going to be a good show.
It certainly is. We have a phenomenal guest who's joining us from London. He is the Doctor Who of business, and his name is Ben Chai. And I had the privilege of meeting Ben in Clubhouse, on the Clubhouse app, where he's a rock star over there. So those of you on Clubhouse, check out Ben Chai, C-H-A-I. We'll be bringing him out in just a moment. Ralph, before we bring out our guests, why don't you just share a little bit with our viewers and our listeners as to what it is that you do and the value that you're bringing to this beautiful world?
Well, thank you. I'm an author. I authored a book called Unstoppable. Unstoppable. It pertains to 7 universal laws that will change the way you pursue and achieve success. I pastor a church. I'm a retired police officer. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. I'm a trainer. I am the president and CEO of the Unstoppable Community. Just go to my website, ralphgravesjr.com / you can join that community. We have a training program out called the Gulfstream Way. So I really have a heart for leaders and leadership and really helping people, taking people on a journey to achieve their full potential. And I'm having a blast doing it. I really am.
And what about your show that you have every Wednesday, Ralph?
Every Wednesday, 10 a.m., Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live. It's the Unstoppable Show at Ralph Graves Jr. Just follow me on any one of those social media platforms and click the live button every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And I'm there, and we have some great topics and we have some great questions of the day. It's very engaging, and we have a good time. We have a real good time. I try to really engage with the audience on whatever platform, and we have a real good time together. So, that'd be great. Show up there. That'd be awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I cannot keep up with you. You truly are unstoppable. It's amazing. Let's bring out our guest, Mr. Ben Chai, the Doctor Who of business. Here he is. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Hey, pleased to meet you guys.
Love your hat and love your bow tie. You look sharp.
Oh, thank you.
Super sharp. So, Ben, I know you from Clubhouse, as I just mentioned, and I think what's so interesting is where I've met Ralph in person. We met at a TV station, a place where we both had an in-person show. But you and I met literally on an app, on a phone that's voice only, and here we are today. So wow. It's pretty amazing how when you reach out to someone, where things can go.
Yeah, that's incredible. I can't even remember how we met. I know we met in one of the rooms, but was I rude to you?
You certainly were, and I'm still annoyed about it. No, we met in Screw the Big Rooms, Mike Armstrong's room, which is a place where you are frequently, but you're in other rooms too.
Yes, I know, but I'm quite rude to many people, so I was just wondering if it was rude to you.
You still have time to be rude to Ralph.
I'm not intentionally rude. It's just like it just comes out, So yeah, you're at this. So tell me more about it kind of thing. Put them on the spot, you know?
Yes.
So when I was at Microsoft, I was one of the first Microsoft engineers in the world, and they had this philosophy called "eat your own dog food." Right? In other words, if they were going to release a product, they couldn't release it unless they were using it themselves. Right. So whenever somebody says, I'm a this, I'm always asking them, oh, okay, so you're a certified yoga instructor, whatever it is. And I'm asking them about all the bits and pieces about yoga. And you can instantly tell whether they really know their stuff or not. So that's what I mean. I'm not deliberately rude, although I can be a bit insensitive. It's not personal. I just have a bit of autism going on somewhere.
Well, hats off to you.
Oh, thank you. Hats off to you too.
So tell us how you got this name, Doctor Who of Business, and what it means.
Oh, well, apparently I'm very eccentric, which is totally untrue, right?
Shocking.
Reverend Graves, I'm totally not eccentric, but they think I am, right? So, and there's this character in the British TV industry, which is one of their best exports, called Doctor Who, about this eccentric time and space traveling person who resolves problems through really unusual means. And over time, I'm given kind of like impossible time scales and finances to do things, and somehow I'm able to do it. So that's how I got that name. So the Doctor Who of Business. And then it just stuck for a little while. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know what it means. It just means he's an eccentric dude. But
I think it means that you're very good at what you do.
Which is what? What do I do?
I was going to give Yes, I was going to give our listeners and our viewers a little bit of background on you, because what they don't know about you is they see you, you're dressed up, you're charismatic, you're an author, you're a speaker, you're a celebrity, you're a strategic expert, and you're a real estate guru. But you started off your life in a very different place, and you've been through quite a lot. And I'm wondering if you might share part of your journey with us, going back to when you were living on a floor and eating porridge.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
Okay, sorry, Ralph. I'm going to turn it over to you.
I mean, you took the man straight to a dark place.
Yes. Why did you take me back there?
No, because we're
take you back to that time and fix it.
Yes. No, but seriously, for all the people out there, there are a lot of people in a dark place right now, and so I think since this is the business show and you are a business expert, a seven-figure individual, that's it gives people hope.
Yeah. Well, I would say that if they're in the dark place and they've got a phone, they should turn on the torchlight.
Torchlight.
Because that illuminates the area.
Yes.
No, I think, here's the funny thing. Yeah, over in your like your teens, you look at your life as it is, and you have a perspective, and then in your 20s you change the perspective and you think, oh, when I was in my teens I was a bit horrible, and in your 20s you evolve that, and in your 30s you think, oh, I shouldn't really believe what I did in my 20s, and then in your 40s, and so your journey and your understanding of that journey changes. Yes, it totally changes. So originally, I thought I had the worst childhood ever. And today, looking back now with different perspectives, I feel that I probably had the best childhood ever. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. But as a result of that, I learned so many fantastic lessons, which has helped kind of me do amazing things and meet some phenomenal people like yourself, Dr. Jacalyn, and Reverend Graves. So I want to say, yes, it was dark. And obviously in those times it was dark. I tried to commit suicide and so on. But looking back now, I'm thinking, wow, that is so amazing. And if you're in a dark place, if I can share something that somebody once shared with me, Ben, he said to me, that time that you're going through at the moment, that dark time, is just a small, tiny dot in the ocean of your entire life. And when you understand that 1 year or 2 years of hell on earth that you're going through is actually very small compared to the huge life that you're going to have. And this is where hope is just a wonderful thing, and that there is really light at the end of the tunnel. And it's not the light from my mobile phone or anything like that. That's the real light of hope for whatever dreams that you might have. Then if you can get through that, if you can find people who will support and help you through that, or if you can find hope in God, something external to you, if you can't cope with the pressure, then this is an amazing thing, because you will get out on the other side. It's just going to take time. So that's what happened. Yes, I was in a dark place, but over time things happened. And it started, funny enough, when I had this experience at university with God, and I became a Christian. So that's the start of my resurrection, my phoenix, if you like, from the dark place.
Yeah.
This is Ben Chai, and over back to my wonderful hosts up there.
Over to you, Mr. I wanted to just say hello to Mr. William Stade, hello to Bernie Smith, hello to AJ Cunningham, and hello to Bruce Weisberg. Thank you. Reverend Grace, any comments or input?
I think that's an amazing story, because, a lot of us wouldn't be who we are today if we had not gone through what we had to go through. And, Ben was built to go through that because it made him the man he is today. And like you said, even though it was a dark period, a dark place, he wouldn't have changed it for the world. And so I think a lot of folks have to realize that. And I love what you say, Dr. Who, you said that little speck of time in that dark place can't compare to where you'll be, or if you hold on, and to where you'll go if you just hold on and hang in there, because it's part of your story. Man, that's an awesome story, man. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Reverend.
And I love the analogy of the ocean. What did you say again? You said in an ocean of, did you say opportunity, or ocean of your life?
No, the darkness that you're going through is a speck. This clubhouse addiction, got to get rid of it. We were up all night, like to going to bed at 5 a.m. and getting up. Anyway, so it's a small drop in the huge ocean of your life.
Yeah.
Oh, the ocean of your life. I love that. Yeah. There's a lot to be said about.
You gotta hang in there. I always tell people, that's why I wrote Unstoppable. You can't quit. You can't throw in the towel, even when it's your darkest moment. You just gotta gut it out. It ain't for everybody. Gotta gut it out. Everybody wants to be on top. Everybody wants to do great things, but there's a process. There's somebody that you have to become before you can do what you want to do, before you can attain what you want to be. And going through those tough times and those dark places help us become. And I just love that, man.
You know what really, really saddens me about many people is that they all want to be number one.
Yeah.
And if they understood that their life would be amazing if they're number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7.
Yeah.
The numbers become irrelevant.
Yeah.
But everyone's trying to be number one. I'm thinking, why? You're asking for problems. Yeah. And I think the best time of my life has been when I've been an underdog, when nobody understood me, and so I could get on with things and I could achieve dreams without having kind of like people who are maybe jealous of stuff that I was doing, or people who were trying to give me advice but never achieved it before, but they think, oh, he's not like, and they've never done it themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Trying to be number one is almost like you're putting extra load on your back.
Right, because everybody wants to take a shot at you, right?
but even the journey to being number one. Whereas if you're just doing your thing and adding value to people, over time, you will naturally bubble up.
Yeah.
Agreed. We have to take our first commercial break.
Hooray! I love those commercials.
Yes, commercials.
Where would we be without the sponsors?
And we're going to hear first from someone near and dear. Let's take a look. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the business show here on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. We are live on Business Talk Radio and social media. It's a catchy tune, right? I see you bopping over there. I've got my co-host, Ralph Graves Jr., and our guest, Ben Chai, Doctor Who of Business. So welcome back.
So good to be here.
You know, one of your unstoppable laws from your book, Reverend Graves, is forgiveness.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
I'm interested in how you feel forgiveness will help people's businesses go to the next level.
Well, you know what? Forgiveness is about us, about me, about you, more than it is about the other person. If I'm angry in business, my personal life, whatever the case may be, if I'm holding this grudge, it blocks some creativity. It blocks some growth. It blocks some focus that I'll need in business. That if I'm going to reach my full potential in business, I can't let that unforgiving spirit block what God is trying to produce in me, because I'm just holding a grudge. I'm just hell bent on, just not letting it go. And studies have shown unforgiveness can cause physical pain. And how can I be my best in business if I'm causing my own physical pain, ulcers, skin problems, because I'm still holding on to something that someone did to me years ago? I haven't released them and released that. So forgiveness is huge.
I had a relative who'd put me in over $1 million worth of debt.
Yeah.
And it took me 10 years to get out of that because I had 10 years of unforgiveness. Yeah. And so it caused a ceiling on what I was able to do on my income. I would still be able to get out of that because of the strength of my social magnetism was very high. So I had a lot of people come and help me out of it.
Sure.
But I could not get past a certain level. And as soon as I was able to do it, which was unfortunately due to the bereavement of my uncle, who was he was like my dad to me.
Wow.
And he said, look, I want you to go and speak to that relative. And I said, I can't do that because every time I see them, I go into Hulk mode,
Right.
My eyes grow red and I feel that anger inside.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you don't have to do this, Ben, but this is my I'm dying. I'm going to be pass away in the next kind of week. This is what I want for you. You don't have to honor it. And because he was like my dad, I honored it, went and spoke to, and it was funny because as I spoke to them and say, and I didn't ask them for forgiveness or anything, but just, it was me. I needed to get it out of my system. They didn't. They couldn't care less, perhaps. Who knows? Yeah. But as I spoke it, and I said to them, do you know why I was good at business? Because they felt I was never anything. And it suddenly came out that coming back to that dark place that you took me to so mercilessly, Dr. Jacalyn, because I was in that dark place where I didn't really have that many friends, I learned how to play games. All kinds of games, bridge, Scrabble, dice games like Risk, and tons of card games. And what is business if it's not one amazing game with lots of variables?
Sure.
So chess teaches me to think like 5, 10, 20 steps ahead of what's going on politically or situationally, like the current pandemic we're in, for example. Yes. So that teaches me that. Many of the games like Scrabble teaches you to have whatever you hold in your hand, and also card games like Cheat, where you say I've got X number of cards, but you may or you may not. Always kind of like taught me how to get the most psychologically out of what I've got and put them in the best places to do get the most out of what's going on. So just these games taught me how. Helped me a lot with business.
Sure.
So I wouldn't have understood that. I never knew that until I went and had that conversation, which my uncle on his dying moment wanted me to go and have. I would never have known. But for me, I always thought, this is just luck, man. I have no clue. I have no process.
Right. Yeah. People don't understand how liberating forgiveness is. It doesn't mean you weren't done wrong. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean I have to remain in relationship with the person that did it. But if I hold this thing, just like you said, Dr. Who, it just stops so much from growing up in me. It stops me from reaching my full potential. Yeah.
And I want to add in, how many times do you hear other people say, how can you forgive that person? Look what they did to you. And it's kind of like people cheering you to go the other way. But yet you yourself know that you have to let it go because you're only holding yourself back. So
I think it's just a lack of understanding. They don't understand that forgiveness is not saying that it's okay what they did. That's not forgiveness. I'm still admitting that they hurt me. They were wrong. And forgiveness doesn't mean that we have to remain friends. Doesn't mean.
Yeah, can I get really deep on you now?
Sure, yes. Go ahead, please.
So I gave a talk called "The Gift of Betrayal" to about 2,500 entrepreneurs, and going through the areas in my life where I'd been betrayed.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering whether it's the universe or God or whatever that is deliberately creating that betrayal, because the universe, in my world, God needs me to go to a higher level. So God really created that to happen, a horrible thing to happen. But if I hadn't gone through it, I wouldn't have gone to the next level. So as a result of what happened, I learned so many more ways to create finance, because I was in a lot of debt. And without having been in that debt, I wouldn't have known all these different strategies. And also I wouldn't have known how many people truly loved me, because I was surrounded by people who just like there's a guy who would never lend anybody any money, but he lent me, 30 grand. So that was phenomenal. And there are people who have cut me behind my back and done things that today I think I would give them, bottles of champagne and shake their hands and just thank them for what they did. One person had, so I write educational material, and that was an income stream. And they'd spread some stuff about me to the senior management. They said that he wasn't interested, even though I'd written the curriculum. And so I got blocked from doing that. And I was furious with them for doing that. And what it is they wanted to keep control of getting that passive income stream. So they got to write the courses which I'd written the outlines for. Now, here's the funny thing. If they hadn't done that, I would never have had the bandwidth to write a book for Microsoft, which directly and indirectly made myself and my business over $1 million. So this is why sometimes, the betrayal is actually being put in our place to cause us to go in a different direction.
Well said. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Totally agree. Totally, absolutely, 100% agree. Some Stoics that lived long ago, I'm not even sure, I think they all said it. The circumstance is just a circumstance. You're in control of how you handle it. It's just a circumstance. But if that circumstance did not occur, like you said, you wouldn't have gone on to develop what you developed to take it to the higher level. I completely agree with what you said, but a lot of people just
wouldn't have had the bandwidth, because I would be writing all those courses for the company.
Exactly. A lot of people just don't get that. But we hope that listening to this show, that they'll understand that they'll get it.
Yes. And I think it's interesting that during this pandemic, obviously there are a lot of things that have happened that are horrible. There are also a lot of good things that have come out of it. And I'm just hoping, and I say this all the time, I'm hoping that while you have this time, that you take it and grow, you take it and network, you take it and explore some areas that maybe you hadn't had the time.
Yeah.
Maybe play some games. There is a strategy behind all of those games. And Dr. Who and I spoke about Scrabble before. My mom and I play it. Yeah. We play a lot of Scrabble, and she always wins. And finally, I asked her how it is she wins, and she said, because you have to use the triple word, the triple letter. I'm worrying about the word, and she's watching where to place the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, she banned me from helping Dr. Jacalyn.
She said,
She was on
said, "Don't get-"
Clubhouse, and yeah, that was very funny.
That was pretty funny.
Don't talk to that man. I used to like him.
I brought my mom on Clubhouse into one of the, through the phone to one of the rooms. So it was kind of fun. Doctor Who, I want to ask you, I read that your first movie appearance was in a James Bond movie.
Yeah, I was a baby.
Do you remember it?
I don't really want to tell anybody which movie it was because it'll date me, and then they'll say, "Oh, now we know your age."
Well, tell us
who's supposed to be eternal, right?
Just tell which Bond was it? That'll tell your age too.
Again, I can't tell you. Sean Connery.
All right, very good.
I love him. I loved him. He's great. So it's so interesting. So you got involved as a baby. That's how you launched your career as an actor. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't get any of the money though.
Well, you made up for it. That's okay. And then I also read that you worked with Madonna.
Yeah, that was on. I think it was Shanghai Surprise. Now, there's a lady who's quite amazing, who's managed to reinvent herself every single time, and she really wanted to become an actor. And honestly, she was horrible. She was horrible in the film that I was in. It flopped, right? Really. Sorry, Madonna, if you're out there listening to me. But then she just picked herself up and kept going until one day, in Evita, when she played, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. Mm-hmm. Amazing, really amazing. And I think she thought, right, I've hit the number one spot. That's it for me. I did what I set out to do. But I just think that she has done things that probably I wouldn't have done to get where she's got, but she's always managed to reinvent herself and be persistent in her goals. So those are the things that I really like about Madonna. Yeah.
I think that over time she pushes the envelope, and she's not afraid to get out of her box and do something different, which I think is really cool.
Absolutely. Anyway, back to this forgiveness stuff.
Sure.
That forgiveness stuff that we really don't like. How do you stop? Like, you're supposed to forgive somebody, right? You know it. Like even like recently, I've had this issue with directors of an estate that I live on, and I'm saying, I know I've got to forgive you. I know you've got something better for me, but I am still angry. And I'm praying and I'm thinking, okay, please bless them, give them tons of money, whatever it is. But then I'm okay for maybe 3 or 4 days, and then I see them and I remember what they did to me. In fact, my solicitor said, you need to move away from these people for a little while, which has helped tremendously because it caused me a lot of PTSD.
Yeah.
So did you move away?
What do you suggest?
What do I suggest?
Yeah. Like it's easy to tell people, just forgive, right? Don't worry about it. No. But seriously, we know that people have lost loved ones as a result of what somebody's done to them, right?
Yeah.
How telling them, look, you just need to forgive, I think is almost like a slap in their face.
I don't. Again, I think it's because people lack the understanding of what forgiveness is. We love other people, but above all, I have to love myself. And once you understand that forgiveness is killing you, forgiveness is killing you. It's stopping. Unforgiveness is killing you. It's stopping some things from growing inside you that the world needs. It's that pride thing. Now, if I put my reverend hat on, my pastoring hat on, the number that God cannot stand is pride. It's pride. It's that pride thing. I'm going to hate you for the rest of my life because of something you did to me 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. But without the understanding that it's blocking you from fully blossoming and reaching your full potential. It really is going to come down to, Doctor Who, how much do you love yourself? How much? And I think that person who gave you that strategy of moving away, apply that strategy, not seeing them every day if it bothers you, until you grow beyond that. And remember, forgiveness is not denying what they've done. We recognize what they've done, but you're no longer controlling me. If I get upset every time I see you, I've given you control and authority over me, and I can't let you have that. I can't. When we hear that saying that unforgiveness is drinking poison and hoping your enemy dies, I can't let you control me like that. So I've got to forgive. Doesn't mean I love you. Doesn't mean we're going to be friends. But you know what? I'm past this now. I have released you to who you are and who you're going to be. You'll never get me again, but I've released you. I don't wish you any ill will. I'll let you go. And I think we really have to understand what that is. I think we still believe that forgiveness means we have to go back to being chummy and buddy and all that. No, no, it just means I released you. Yeah. I released you. Yeah. And emotionally, you no longer get the opportunity to be in control of my emotions.
My unforgiveness is killing me.
Yeah.
Well, think about when you are so angry, as you just described, how much energy you're putting into that. And that energy, I feel like it's like a block that's preventing you from going into other things, into loving other things, other people, into being grateful, because all the energy is put into this one area. So have you now been able to release these people from your anger?
I think so, but you never know until I see them, when I see them, until it stops. I think that's how, for me, that's how I know. You try kind of like, okay, let's see what happens when I look at them. Sorry?
You have to be strategic about it, because it doesn't happen overnight. Like, I've got some people who I couldn't stand. And so I just make sure I don't see them. I make sure I'm not around them. I make sure that if they come across my mind and my thoughts, I hurry up and I switch the channel. I change the channel. And then over time, because it takes energy, it takes work, over time, and then it just doesn't even bother you anymore. But, it's foolish to think that it's going to happen overnight, but you just have to.
I like what you're saying. There's that like almost like a bereavement process that you have to kind of get it out of your system a little bit and try to not be there. And like I'm saying, I know it's for my own good. Yeah. And that the universe, if you're not Christian or religious in any way, has something for you. It's just understanding that and really getting it in your heart so that your head starts working with it, and I know it over and over that every single betrayal like that has resulted in more and more kind of abundance in my life. But even though it up here, sometimes you can't get it down here, right?
Sure.
Right. Yeah, there's a blockage.
Trying to force it. It's just get in there. You're going to forgive them. Do it.
And you said something earlier, Dr. Who. You said earlier that is so very true. So very true. That with every, this is Holy Week for us believers, that with every Judas, with every betrayal, there is an anointing. Today is Wednesday, and if you follow Holy Week on Wednesday, today was the Wednesday after Palm Sunday. This is the Wednesday that Jesus is with his friends, and he shows up at a house, and he tells Judas, go ahead and do what you got to do. Judas goes to betray him, but at the same time, a woman anoints him with this expensive perfume, this alabaster box. So at the same time that we're being betrayed, we're anointed for another level. I didn't mean to come on here and preach, but I just need you to see that in your life. You've already said it. Every time somebody betrayed you, you were anointed, and other people showed up and anointed you to do greater things. But here's the funny part. We concentrate on the betrayal. We're thinking about the betrayal instead of looking at the blessing. And that's what unforgiveness keeps us focusing on, who screwed us over, and we forget about all the blessings and all of the anointing that came right alongside the same time that betrayal did. So I got to let that go. Yeah.
Amen to that.
Well, it is the business show, and we are trying to help people have more and more abundance, I'm guessing.
Sure. Yes.
Absolutely.
And dealing with the unforgiveness does help them, as I said, in my life, has helped
Yeah.
me reach higher and higher levels.
Yeah.
The thing is, even though I know it, sometimes I'm still having these issues.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. I know it, and I have to stop. I have to say, wait a minute. You are committing professional suicide by holding on to that. Let that go.
Yeah.
If you have your policeman hat on, because you must have seen quite a lot of tragedy as well.
Sure.
So where people needed to have a lot of forgiveness for whatever happened.
Yeah.
What have you seen? How have other people managed to get through it? And I'm guessing some people never did.
Yeah, that's what really made me write the book. Some people don't, and their lives stay right where they are. Some people say, okay, that happened. They're never coming back. It's not coming back. Whatever happened, whatever was taken from me, I still have to grow and go and move on. I can't allow that perpetrator to take power from me and power from who I'm supposed to be. And so when people weren't forgiving the act. They weren't forgiving the crime. They just said it doesn't have power over me anymore. You don't have power over me. What was taken, what was stolen, it's gone, it's gone. I can't stay there because blaming you for my lot in life. And here's the thing. Most of the people that we're mad at, that we haven't forgiven, they don't care anyway. Yeah.
That's so true. That is so, all the energy we put in. Meanwhile, they've already moved on. They're not even giving us a second thought.
Right. Yeah.
About anything. We need to take a break. I'm really sorry. So we have a new sponsor, Listening to Smile. And I just want to tee it up by asking all the business owners out there, do you understand copyright laws? Did you know that it is illegal and a violation of copyright laws to play CDs, iPods, Spotify, Pandora, and other streaming services for your yoga classes, workshops, retreats, private sessions, live events if you don't obtain the proper licensing? So
we got to come back and talk about that. I got questions.
Okay, let's watch this clip and we'll be right back.
The music, services, and programs that we offer at Listening to Smile are based off of scientific studies and research, along with our own personal experiences and testimonials from our clients and our affiliates that we work with worldwide. My own personal journey began in around 2010, and I tried to find relief from a chronic illness that I was diagnosed with. And the traditional ways of healing, they tried to fit me in this box, and that didn't work for me for so many reasons. And this led me to a self-discovery that I never expected to be so life-changing. Healing is multifaceted. It requires us to really look at our whole selves and to get really honest about what we see. I started to see movement towards recovery when I started to integrate yoga into my life daily. When I started to incorporate the music into all aspects of my life, including my yoga practice, my healing completely accelerated. And listening to Smile's music helped me to open my consciousness. I was able to open my eyes to new perspectives and make changes that I needed to make in order to recover. The most noticeable difference that I saw right away, like immediately after listening to my first frequency track, was how much my anxiety completely stopped. There was such a relief. My mind was actually quiet for the first time in so many years. I felt safe. I felt this comfort and this peace immediately. I continued to listen daily, and I found that amazing things were happening inside of me. I felt calmer, I felt happier. I felt like I was in this little bubble of peace. Physically, I started to see the changes happening. I started to see the things happening in my body that needed to happen for me to heal from my illness. I felt empowered, I felt hopeful, and something that I hadn't felt in years. This is why we at Listening to Smile integrate yoga and Listening to Smile music together. We see such a huge benefit from integrating the music into other modalities of healing. It accelerates these modalities. It steps them up to another level because it works on the brainwave states and the neural pathways in the brain. This is something that is not very easy for us to do alone at home, but the Listening to Smile music makes that possible. This is where real change happens. This is where the body and the mind sync up and work towards health of the being as a whole. That is true health, and listening to Smile frequency music will get you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back. Here we are on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. Yay! It's the business show with Ralph Graves Jr. as co-host and Doctor Who, Ben Chai, joining us from London. So, gentlemen, you wanted to talk about listening to Smile, or you wanted to talk about copyright laws?
I have a question. Doctor, what time is it over there?
What time is it? It's kind of like 10 to 8
p.m.
p.m. Does that help?
Yeah, I was just wondering.
I'm hoping it'll help with your abundance.
Yes, it does. It does help. It does help because I need to know. You and I have to talk. I have to get across the pond and find my audience over there. So.
Oh well, I'd be happy to introduce you, and Ghana as well.
Let's make it happen.
I love this.
My good friend Andrew Gilmore. He is the godfather of my kids, and for some totally bizarre reason, the wonderful people in Ghana has made him I don't know, some cardinal or something like that. And so he's devoting his life to sharing and helping people in Ghana. So if you want to have an audience there,
I do.
I would too.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I'll
Let's make it happen.
you with him.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this copyright stuff because I got questions.
Yes, I'll try to answer. Maybe Dr. Who would know, but my understanding is if you own a restaurant, a bar, a hair salon, any business, and you're playing music from your personal account at Spotify or Apple Music, you pay $9.99 for your personal membership, and you play that in your place of business, you are violating copyright laws. Now, if anybody out there listening or watching knows anything and they want to comment or they want to call in, please do. So, thoughts, Ralph, Dr. Who?
Okay, I think I might understand that if I have a restaurant, a bar, and I guess I might understand that. I thought we were, I'm thinking about it. Of course, I'm always thinking, church-wise.
Right.
But we don't do that. We don't. We have Romans. But I understand it. I thought it was just saying, like, if I happen to be talking, you and my Spotify's on in the background, I got to pay for that.
No, so let's say right now I just started playing my Apple Music from my account, and I started playing it here on the air. That's a violation.
Wow.
What if I played it?
That'd be a violation.
But
what if we all played it? What if we all played it?
All of us would be in trouble.
So here's the thing. What happens if you're in a restaurant and you play your Spotify and everybody else in the restaurant decides that they like it, but you're not the business owner? You just happen to be going out with your mates, listening to it.
Yeah.
And the restaurant owner, for all we know, might be in the kitchen at the time. Should the restaurant owner tell them, "Oh, you can't play this here"? Yeah. What?
Yeah, I know what you're saying because
I'm with you a little bit to Dr. Jacalyn.
Now that I think about it, I lift in different gyms. I go to different gyms, and a lot of them they're hardcore gyms. You pay $10 a month. They give you the code to get in. They got a radio. You can hook your phone up to via the auxiliary cord. You can play whatever you want. The whole gym hears it. That's violation?
Yes.
The gym may already have a license to play music. Actually.
Yeah. Is it your music or their music?
No, I take my phone, I plug in my Spotify, and I play 90s hip hop. When I'm not listening to gospel, doctor, I play 90s hip hop.
I'm a Latin dancer. I listen to a lot of salsa music.
So that's a violation.
If you play it in a public place, now you're not the owner of the business, so I don't know. But what I can tell you is that Ian and Dana, they actually own Listen to Smile. They found me, believe it or not, on the internet, and I met with them a couple of times, and I listened to what they had to say. That they're in Pittsburgh, and there's a woman who owns yoga studios. She has 6 yoga studios, and she got fined $50,000 a piece, I believe, because she was playing Pandora, Spotify, one of those, as an individual membership. She didn't pay for whatever the business membership is.
Oh, so there's a business membership as well.
I guess. So with this music, Listening to Smile, they create their own music that's frequency based. So there's a healing modality to it as well. And then they drop a new album every month. So when you have their subscription or you become their affiliate, you get new music every month. Plus it has healing principles.
Yeah. So I was on a TV show, and we wanted to do a salsa performance before they interviewed me. And so we reached out to the creator of the well, first of all, an organization that gives us permissions and licenses to play the music. They didn't have that music in their catalog. So I reached out to the originators on Facebook. I just found out because you know who the music's by, and said, look, I'm going to be on this show. We want to play it for our dance. Are you okay with that? And do you want us to pay you any money? And the guy, he was actually very kind and said, no, it's fine. Can you just give us a link and let people know it's us who created the music?
Yeah.
So if their music isn't cataloged by other people, you can actually choose your own and create your own music for performances or for playing. But do contact the originators. I think that's only fair. You know, I'm on a panel with a lot of creatives, and it's nice that they know that somebody's, even if they don't charge you, is likes whatever they've created enough to want to reach out and say, hey, let me know how much it is. If it's not 10 billion, I'd like to contribute to for use of it.
Agreed. I think also part of it, in my understanding, I could be totally wrong, but part of my understanding is that artists don't get compensated for their work in a lot of cases. And so I think you have to have music downloaded an enormous number of times before you make any money. So if people are playing your music and they're not getting compensated, then that's kind of like stealing.
I totally agree with that, because having my book on audiobook, ask me if I've seen a dime from that. It's going to have to be downloaded a lot.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Well, that's true. This is why self-publishing, you actually make more money selling your own books. It's just that you don't have the audience that like an Amazon does, for example. So I hardly make anything when people buy from Amazon. But however, it does give you, credibility to do other things, and people do see you. So that's the great thing about these giants. And I find it funny when people are saying, but they're stealing all my money. They're not. You're paying for them to advertise. You just get a small amount of your work from your work.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I hope it all works out for Smile. I'm glad it's muddy water, but I'm all for the entrepreneur, man. I hope I'm not violating a whole lot of things, but hope it works out for them.
There's a whole lot of creative music work that you can download, and if you're going to be using it for certain areas, they don't mind you using it as long as you give them credit. So like a lot of my early videos, I just downloaded music, and as long as I said bensoundcloud.com, that's where the music's from, they were happy for it.
Interesting. I know when I got the music for my theme song that I love. I say this all the time. I love it. Sometimes for some reason, YouTube starts playing up here. I'm downstairs and I hear this song. I'm like, no, stop with this song. But I had to pay for the licensing, and I got it from Pond 5. So I paid for an international, I forget what the category, international commercial license or something.
Yeah.
So,
well, you learn something every day.
Well, if you've got, and I'm sure you've got, both of you've got great audiences and people in your lives who are musicians. Some of them, especially if they're starting out, would love just to get credits. So for example, on your show, if they're up for it, they might create a little bit of music, and you can credit them and give people a, connection to them for them to grow their music audience.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you can do these kinds of deals. Especially if people are just starting out, and then find other ways to bless them.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, it's there's a whole kind of, from the big stars to people just starting out, all kinds of deals you can work with them depending on what you're using the music for. Yeah. So for a lot of charities, they're very happy for them to broadcast it for free. Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
They're working with that. Yeah.
I'm still waiting to sing an intro to Dr. Jacalyn's.
I would love that. Doctor Who, when he was on, I remember what show you were on, but you did a rap for me.
I did a rap for Dr. Jacalyn.
Yes.
See, Reverend Graves, you're waiting to be asked. I'm just giving it.
Yes.
I received that. I received that.
I had a conversation. What was it with my brother? I think it was about giving. And if you're asking someone if it's okay to give to them, then he said, you're not really serious.
Right.
Give us this give. They don't ask, hey, is it okay if I give? Well, I have to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, if people want to do something, they'll just do it.
Yeah.
That's true. And Ralph, I didn't even know that you wanted to sing.
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I'm a background.
Create this song and then send it to Dr. Jacalyn as a little present.
Yeah, I'm a background singer. You know what I'm saying?
In the background and send it to Dr. Jacalyn.
Way back. Matter of fact, they cut my mic off sometimes.
Well, let's see you do the mime song.
I love to say, look at him. He's so good. Doctor Who, do you feel like doing a rap about anything today?
No, sorry.
No, okay. All right.
No, I feel really bad because I still haven't created the full Dr. Jacalyn rap because Reverend Graves, her show is called Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, which is why I thought, hey, that would be a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys?
Me getting my Christmas wrapping out and just trying to wrap a present on screen in front of her. But
yeah.
Did I ever share with you guys why I came up with that name?
No, please tell us.
When my dad was alive, well, his name was John, but everyone called him Jack. And people loved to listen to him. He was really intelligent and he was totally into technology. He was always a pioneer, trying whatever beta trial they had for something, he'd be doing that. And he had 5 screens. He'd be watching the stock market, and he's listening to Michael Bublé, and he's doing all these things at the same time. And my friends wanted his advice. And even our neighbors and relatives, they wanted to ask him advice about the stock market. So anyway, people would actually come over to rap with Jack, which would mean my dad was sitting there doing something, and all of a sudden people were pulling up chairs just to listen to what he had to say. And he was the one who always wanted to listen to everybody else. So he would listen to our stories, and then he would give us advice about boys, about money, about more boys, and then it was men, then it was money. So it was usually with my friends, they were the topics. And so I named it in honor of him.
Wow.
Yeah, and Dr. Jacalyn, Rap with Jack, it's still there, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So as young people, you only wanted to talk about anything that started with the letter M. Men, money.
Men and money. That was about it. So yes, there's so many things to talk about. We could talk for all day. I'd like to ask both of you a question. You're both authors. And, you both have your own following. How do you take what you've experienced in your life, like Ralph, whether it's being a police officer or being a man of God or whatever aspects of your life that you put into writing, and Doctor Who, all the things that you've accomplished in business with Microsoft and then on the stage, dancing, acting. How do you capture it in one book? Is it possible?
You want to go first, Doc, or you want me to take it first?
I never captured it in one book.
I know you did.
A tech book, a business book. There's lots of other books that I want to release. And I took some bad advice. So with Social Magnetism, I was wanting to release like 5 books at the same time, and they felt I should only just write the one and get used to it. But I think I could have written all 5, released them, and just focused on Social Magnetism.
Yeah. I don't think, and I agree with Doc, I don't think you captured all in one book. I mean, there's so many more books inside of me that have to be written, that I have to get out. So no, you won't capture it in one book. You won't capture one book at all, because if you try to, it won't be a page turner. And the object of writing a book is to make sure we want to get the reader to turn the page.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Well, just so you know, I already knew the answer to that question because I know what you've written. But in the book, it was a trick question. In the book that I'm writing, I realized that I have a lot more books that are inside of me. But the reason why I asked it was because I think everyone has a book in them, and people just get stuck. I can't tell you how many people I speak to, I interview, and, I started writing a book. It's in the closet. It's on the shelf. It's in the computer. So knowing that you two are already published authors, and there are so many people out there, business people, entrepreneurs who have books in them that are really, we need them to publish these books. What would you say to them about how you get it done?
You write every day. You write. You get it done. You get around the right people to help get it out of you. Right. You write. If it's in you, you write. That's all I can say.
But they're running a business, and they've got a family, and they've got to work out, and on and on and on and on.
Yeah,
then they probably don't want it enough.
No, they don't want it enough.
There it is. There it is.
You don't want it. You don't want it enough.
One of my good friends, Michael Matthews, he used to be a basketball player, but he's written several books, and what he does is he just writes 500 words a day. That's it. And if you think about it, 500 words a day times 10 days is 5,000 words, which is kind of like a mini ebook. And then that's 500 words times 10 days, that's 5,000. So 20 days is 10,000.
Yeah.
And I think
after 5 months he's got a book.
Yeah, book's done. 5 months.
Isn't one page isn't this about 250? I mean, a book is going to be like this, right? But isn't this about 250 words?
Yes, that's roughly 250 words. I think a page is about 300 words.
Okay, so he's writing 2 pages a day, basically.
Yeah.
Seems very doable.
Yep. It is, but like Doc said, you have to want it. I mean, if you're letting all those other things, you get 24 hours a day. If God is good to us, he gives us 24 hours. And the only thing that separates all of us is what we did with those 24 hours. That's the only thing. You could sit and watch a Netflix series, or you can sit and write a Netflix series. You make the decision.
Oh, I do like those Netflix series.
I do too.
Come on, give me a break. I'm really into Black Lightning at the moment. Those stories are just amazing.
You can either watch it or write it. The choice is
I'm not listening to you. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Sorry for all my cat lovers out there. So you could write 500 words a day. You could have someone record you and get them to write it. You could get a ghostwriter. My son has written several people's books for them, right? You could get someone to help you write it. So my son helped me write my last book, right? So there's multiple ways. If you really want to do it, get it done. Yeah. So you don't have to just do 500 words a day. You could get some help. Sorry, you got to pay for money, but at least you get it done. And what's money anyway, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
the Lord's going to give you much, much more for whatever.
Man, I got stories about that. I don't have time, but I can tell you there is truth where he says, I will open up windows and pour you out blessings you don't have room for. I don't even know what to do with half the blessings he's given me.
Really, I need some of them.
Yeah.
Can you pass some to him?
Of course.
Please. Please, I'm pushing some of mine up to you, Reverend. Push some up to Dr. Jacalyn too.
Yeah.
There we go. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this has been a phenomenal show. We can go on if you want. I have another show at 4, or we can close out. Your choice.
I have to get ready to run. I do have an office I need to run. I've been away for an hour.
Beautiful. All right.
And I have a clubhouse room to run. It's for performers in property. So we share about how they can invest in property, because performers have a certain lifetime. Dancers, after a while, their bones go and things break, and so it's a way that they can create their own residual income. Especially like a lot of performers couldn't actually do any work during the COVID time because they couldn't work in their teams. Now they have found ways around that, but just for those downtimes. So that's what the room's about, how to create your own residual income through real estate or property investment.
Wow.
That sounds fascinating. So you're going to be over on Clubhouse. So anybody who wants to go onto the Clubhouse app, if you don't have an invitation, I've got some. You can message me at drjacalyn.com. And Ben, we just go to search and put in your name and we'll find you, right?
Yes, just put my name in Google, Ben Chai, and then you'll get, 5 million hits. Not 5 million. No, just a few, which I've been very blessed to get. I didn't even know what had happened. There was no SEO, nothing like that. Again, I'm just very, very blessed to have amazing people in my life and somebody who's looking after me, even though I am terrible at looking after myself.
That's beautiful.
Well, that is beautiful. And Ben, would you like to share your book with us? Can you hold your book up? Do you have it there?
I can hold my book up. I could hold up the book that I'm currently reading, if you like. So
Social Magnetism.
This is my recent book. Yes.
And we can find that on Amazon?
Yes, you can find it on Amazon and some places. Apparently, it's been on people's bookshelves. So that's wow. I didn't know it was there. But anyway, yes. On Amazon, Social Magnetism. You have to work through the exercises. My next book will be The Son of Unstoppable. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that. Well, Ben, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. I hope you and the Reverend will connect. You're both charter presenters on A Better You. So
we will connect. Yeah.
Yes, and reach out to each other on LinkedIn too, if you would.
Great. Okay.
Excellent. All right.
I'm reaching out to you. Come to me. Come to me.
Thank you so much for being here, Ben. I'll see you later. It's been a real pleasure.
See you later, Dr. Jacalyn. Bye. Bye, audience. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, Reverend Ralph Graves, what's the best way for people to contact you?
Ralph at ralphgravesjr.com. That's the email. You can go to ralphgravesjr.com. You'll see the website, ralphgravesjr.com/community to join the Unstoppable community. It's just $10 a month. I post some great content on to bring out your full potential. My book, Unstoppable, is everywhere. Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can get it from my website as well. So, any social media, I'm there.
And can you just tell us about the Gulfstream Way?
Gulfstream Way is 90 days that will transform your life. It's a cohort. You'll be in with about 10 other movers and shakers, and it'll transform your life. We talk about life strategies as well as business strategies, again, to bring out your full potential, but we'll be together for 90 days with that. So that's ralphgravesjr.com/apply. And we'd love to work with you through that, the Gulfstream Way.
And again, your show on Wednesdays, where can we find it?
Wednesday at 10 a.m. You'll find it on Facebook Live. Just follow me on Facebook, Ralph Graves Jr. on Facebook. YouTube, Ralph Graves Jr. Instagram, Live, Ralph Graves Jr. Guys, LinkedIn. So follow me. Let's connect. Let's get together. Let's be unstoppable together.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here and being a fabulous co-host as always. And look forward to catching up with you later on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching our shows today. We have one more coming up, and I just want to give you an overview of the program. It's called A Better You. Lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. These are people who are experts, leaders, giving us their insights, their experiences, their expertise in a 15-minute lesson. So today's experts are Diane Floyd-Boehm. She was on the Underdog show earlier, and Red O'Laughlin, who is an independent publisher. He's also an author. He's a Toastmaster, and he is my book coach. So we look forward to having you join us there today at, well, let's see, it's almost 45 minutes from now. We will be back, and we'll look forward to having you join us then. Take care. We'll see you soon. Hello, I'm Dr. Jacalyn. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents A Better You. And here to tell us more is the creator of A Better You, Al Cini. Al, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. It's always a pleasure working with you and everyone out there. You know, you might be a coach working with individuals professionally or personally, or you might be a consultant working with businesses, or you might be a trusted advisor specializing in an area like finance, let's say, or the law or healthcare. Whatever of those roles you relate to, you all have one thing in common, and that is you're working every day to help people become better versions of themselves, a better you. And Dr. Jacalyn's A Better You program is an opportunity for you to express your expertise in a particular area for 15 minutes in front of an audience of people who are looking for help from people like you.
Yep.
So, Dr. Jacalyn, maybe you can tell everybody how they can learn more about this.
It's so easy. You go to abetteryou.tv and you sign up to book your session.
Networking sucks and people suck at it, but nothing gives me more life than walking around and talking to people in an audience and really being able to identify, okay, I see where you're having trouble, let's work on fixing it. How do you help them? How do you provide value? My goal is to give them those tools to be able to go out and tackle that fear. Anywhere there's coffee is where I'll be. So I bring candy a lot to my speaking engagements. Like, of course that makes sense. I'm a little unconventional.
Ashley was very knowledgeable.
Very entertaining.
I learned a few new things, and to me that's the key.
What do you want them to say? How do you want to be perceived? You're going to get the most direct, tactical tips and practical takeaways when it comes to networking. These two here are super important. You'll remember once the conversation started.
I love the tips that she gave out. I hate networking with a passion, so I feel like I can get through a meeting or event and not feel so uncomfortable.
When you're going to a presentation, you want to be educated. You also want to be entertained.
She was really fun and really personable, and everything she was saying was just very relatable.
She's got a lot of great ideas.
That will make you stand out so fast.
She comes across as someone that likes what they do and just doesn't try to sell you something.
Activity breeds results. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere.
Just made me want to start networking, which I never thought I'd say before.
A networking strategy that works for you.